Hey y'all, Irix guy here. Now I've had a ton of feedback and I appreciate that because it's y'all that help me to continue to grow, because this is a one-person operation, Irix Guy's Adventure Channel. So it's a lot of effort, and it's your feedback and your subscriptions and your sharing with others that really helps me to continue to stay motivated and share this enjoyable hobby with everyone else. And what I wanted to do within this video is respond to an abundance of feedback. I try to respond personally as much as I can, and that's definitely something I will continue to do. I'm not trying to step away from that, but what I want to do is respond to an abundance of questions that a lot of people have had, and hopefully this will help you if maybe you've got a Phantom 3, maybe you're about to get one if you don't have one yet. Feel free to check the link within this video's description, 400orbelow.com. I've organized a lot of links there to the Phantom 3, the case, the quick disconnect prop guards, and accessories that I use that you may find to be of value too. So, a few things here I want to talk about. One of the things that's come up a lot, if you look at the bottom of the gimbal, this little piece right here, you'll notice that only 2 of the 4 corners have that little clear, looks like a little spiky plug, and that's normal. You do not want it on all 4 corners, because what that would do is hamper the performance of the gimbal, because the gimbal needs to kind of be able to float around to create that smooth video effect. And if it's tethered by 4 of those, you're going to degrade your video quality. And those are just there, should it experience turbulence or whatever, and maybe one of those little spongy pieces pops out, this may better enable the camera to remain attached to the Phantom until you can land safely. So in other words, maybe you may not lose your camera. Another thing I want to talk about are the quick disconnect prop guards. A lot of people have asked me about that. I personally do not fly without the quick disconnect prop guards. They're off right now because, obviously I've got the mounts in the 4 corners. They do come in other colors, but I've got them off right now because I'm just doing this presentation. I pulled it out of my case. And that's what's so good about it. You can have prop guards on your Phantom 3 and still use a case. And again, I've got the case listed, a link to the one that I use, and with them off like they are right now, I can just pop it in the case, and it's not an issue, because I put the Phantom in and then I put the 4 prop guards off to the side, and it all fits. Now the other thing was, does the gimbal, does the ND filter, does it negatively affect the performance of the gimbal? From my experience, and you can check out my videos, I've got a few now, and keep in mind I'm still running with 1 battery, so my number of flights is not as high as I would like it to be at this point, because I still have 1 battery. But as soon as I get more batteries, I'm going to amp up the frequency that I post Phantom 3 flying videos, and you'll be able to see more. But I've had no problems with this ND filter on my camera. Actually, I keep it on, even though it came with a lens cap as well. I keep the ND filter on because even when it's in my case, it prevents fingerprints and potential scratches of the Phantom 3 camera itself. So I like it a lot. And it does weigh, I've got a video and I'll be publishing it. I mean, it's a minor amount of weight. And at least for my Phantom, and I've flown, at the time of posting this, probably, just a guesstimate, maybe 15 flights. And I have not noticed any issues on my Phantom, and this is the Phantom 3 Professional, as the result of having this ND filter on the camera. So it gives me peace of mind, and it provides me with better video quality, in my opinion. And that's up for debate, because a lot of people say, well, I can't really tell the difference if I use an ND filter or not. But if you're using a 4K monitor like I am, I challenge you to put the 2 side by side and see if you cannot differentiate between the 2. And more than likely, if you're in the situation I'm in, you're likely going to feel that the ND filter provides a greater level of video quality. The other question I had was, and actually this wasn't a question, this was something that one of my subscribers brought up. Actually, a few of my subscribers brought up, and I appreciate it. When I was calibrating the compass, you know, when you do the calibration dance, and you spin around, and then you face the nose down, you spin around again, I had the controller in my hand. And apparently, when you're calibrating, you should not have that controller in your hand. It should be somewhere else. So that's good to know. Not that it created any problems for me, but it's something going forward. When I do calibrate, I'll be sure that I don't have the controller in my other hand and Phantom in the other. So that's just another quality lessons learned. And that brings up another good point. How often should one calibrate? Well, and a lot of people have different opinions about this, but if I'm flying at the same physical location, and by that I mean taking off within a 5 or 15 foot diameter. You know, when you're looking at a circle, diameter is from this side to that side. If I'm within about 15 feet, I'm not going to worry. Personally, I'm not going to recalibrate. But if I move locations outside of that, I'm going to recalibrate. Maybe it's not necessary, but it makes me have a greater sense of peace of mind. So that's just my opinion there. The other thing that's come up is the question. It's a recurring question. Does Phantom 3 have autonomous flight capabilities, also known as waypoint flight? As we know, if you use the Phantom 2 Vision Plus like I did, there was a ground station component of the DJI Vision app, and you could set waypoints, and you can check out my video. Actually, that video I have of the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, I think it's got, at the time of posting, it's about 745,000 video views. So it's gotten a lot of buzz, but it definitely had autonomous flight capabilities. And obviously, when I flew it, I was maintaining visual line of sight in a safe and responsible fashion, but it was able to fly itself. And obviously, you could override that should you want to regain manual control. At least to my knowledge, at the time of posting this video, the Phantom 3 does not have waypoint flying capabilities. And it's something that I'm not sure if DJI is going to incorporate that into a future software update. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe there's a reason it's not present. For me personally, the waypoint flying capabilities, it was kind of a novelty. It wasn't something that I used it once. You know, I went out and took the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, my older Phantom 2 Vision Plus, out in the field and played with it just to say, hey, I've done it. You know, and you can watch my video and see me do it. But it's something that I never used since. So the fact that it's not present, at least at this point in time, on the Phantom 3, it personally doesn't bother me. Another question that came up was the orbit. You know, can you set the Phantom to orbit and film? That's something I've personally got to investigate in more depth. The concept would be is that this Phantom, you would be able to, in essence, set a point, and then it would fly in a circle or whatever type pattern that you may want to predefine, and it would keep the camera focused on an object. So say, for example, you're in a field, and there's a tree in the middle of the field, and you want to circle that tree, but when you're circling, you want to keep the camera pointed towards that tree, you know, towards that object. At least at this point in time, to my knowledge, it's likely not available. But that's something to be investigated. Let's see, what are the other questions? There's so many questions. And actually what I want to do, and mark your calendars, because I will be, when I do schedule this, I'll be putting an invite on the Irish Skies Adventure channel on the Facebook page. So if you haven't followed me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/IRIXSky. Obviously, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, YouTube, and I'll keep everyone abreast of when this is going to occur. But what I want to do is put together a live show. And this is a live show where you can join. It's a YouTube live event. So you can type questions in real time. And there'll probably be a 30-second or so broadcast delay. But when you type that question, then I'll have the opportunity to respond. And then others that are watching the video live will have opportunity to respond as well in the form of comments, or maybe add value to the question that you posed. So that's just something that's coming soon, and I'm trying to get all this together. I mean, there's a lot of, drones being a hobby of mine. It's hard to find the time for the hobby, but it's even more challenging to find the time for the for the things like the live shows and all of that. I mean, there's so much I want to do with this. I mean, I'm enjoying this. I mean, this is such an exciting hobby, and I want to share the experience with others, and I want to learn from y'all. I mean, there's stuff that people have told me, and a prime example of that is, and if you've watched my video where I forget the title of the video, but where I went out in the field and it was about half hour long or so, and I was just with a camera on me, I was sharing with you the flight experience, and I attempted a return home scenario, but I didn't take the Phantom 3 really far away. I took it maybe 30 feet or something like that, and then I initiated return home. Well, even though the app was properly set up to return to home, when I was doing that video, when I did the return home, it started to descend. And obviously I was able to override, and I was in a safe location, and if it had landed itself, it wouldn't have mattered. But viewers told me, they said, well, actually, your Phantom 3 has to be X number of feet away from home point. Otherwise, if you trigger return home, it'll land. So that made sense. I thought there was something wrong with my firmware. I didn't know what was going on. So, I mean, this show, Irish Guys Adventure Channel, is not scripted. I mean, I get a lot of feedback, and that's something else I wanted to acknowledge within this video, is that I get a lot of feedback. People are like, man, you don't know what you're doing. You claim to be an expert, this, that, and the other. I'm not claiming to be anything. I'm just a hobbyist, and I'm having a good time. And if I share my experiences with you, if it's of value and you provide me with feedback, that's great. And if I share my experiences with you and you feel that it's, you want to say something else, that's fine too, because feedback is where it's at. If I don't receive feedback from my viewers, then I'm not being successful as a host. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the feedback. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. One other thing I want to bring up. The most recent firmware update, at the time of posting this, I think it was the third firmware update. I may be wrong. I think it was the 3.9 or whatever. But a lot of people ask, they're like, man, I updated the firmware, and then when I tried to update the controller wouldn't update. And actually, I encountered the same scenario. Phantom 3 updated, but when I stuck it in the Phantom 3 controller did not update. So that was the first firmware that I encountered. Yeah, it was the third firmware that I installed. And it's the first one that I installed that would not update both. So that was interesting. And let's see, what else? Keep asking the questions. Like me on Facebook, facebook.com/IrixGuy. Toss ideas my way, because when you toss them there, you toss them on YouTube, it really provides me with an opportunity to explore different challenges when I'm out in the field next with the Phantom 3. And it's something that when I'm out in the field, as you're aware, I've got a camera, and I'm out there just, it's like you're there with me, and you're experiencing the scenario as well. So, keep those questions coming, and I'll keep the videos coming. And I know there's been a lot of drone-heavy content recently, and it's going to even get heavier, because I love drones. But there's going to be a lot more as well. It's not just going to be drones. There's going to be some content that's going to rock your socks off. So if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy. And again, if you see me out and about, feel free to say hi. I'm not a jerk. I don't think I'm a jerk. Feel free to say hi, and I'll toss you some stickers and and talk to you or whatever, about drones or GoPros or travel or whatever it may be. So I appreciate the viewership, and stay tuned for more videos. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube.com/IrixGuy. And like me on Facebook too. Y'all have a good day.